The round of applause, please welcome Mr. Bhushan Sethi and Sandip Sinha.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think सब लोग सो गए हैं, people. Good afternoon. The age is catching up, so I have to change my glasses. So I'm realizing now. So once again, good afternoon. My name is Bhushan Sethi. I take care of IoT products for Vodafone Idea. I have my partner. So I am an electrical engineer, although I am part of telecom now for almost now 18 to 19 years. And this topic is very, very close to my heart because being an electrical engineer. So I'm going to talk about TSP role in accelerating the digitalization in the utilities. So how does TSP is looking at all what is happening? So just about Vodafone Idea, we are in the news for many reasons, not so good, but we are still a leader in IoT, doing extremely well in the IoT space. Out of every 2 smart meters, 2 smart meters are being powered by Vodafone Idea. We have set up an IoT lab, first in the industry, which is used for doing testing of the devices before they go commercial. I am going to talk about more in my slides. Quickly, let me take you through the AMI journey from the TSP, telecom service provider, TSP's telecom service provider perspective. So we all know that telecom was launched in 95-96 when the first call was made between we could actually do some data transfer. The utility started working at the same time on the AMR initiative. They went into IP, IPv4, and they were also coming up with the tenders for RIPDRP for the commercial meters. As we move ahead from 2010 to 2016, operators launched 3G services and utilities were doing AMI and smart grid pilots. And they had already moved to IPv6. As we moved from 2018 on to 2018 to 2022, when 4G services finally came, we saw a lot of tenders already happening, smart metering actually happening in the field. 2019, I think, was the first year when ESL took up the project for UP Discom and they started implementing AMI. And as we go ahead, we will see emergence of 5G and we will see emergence of smart grid coming up. So now as we move ahead, as the metering has evolved from to 25 crores meters now, we need about 25 crores smart meters are going to happen. It has evolved from commercial to consumer. It has evolved from offline to a near real time. So now as these requirements on near real time is happening, it is very, very important to have a very, very strong collaboration between the utilities and the telecom service providers. Just about VI IoT experience, specifically around AMI and smart utilities. Vodafone has been the champion. We have worked with almost 90 distribution companies across the world. In India, we are working with almost 18 distribution companies, including all of these, which are being shown in the slide. And we are working on different type of solutions along with them. We have about 1.2 billion population coverage, about 3 lakh kilometers of fiber, and 5 lakh towns and cities we are covering. While working with various distribution companies, we have gathered various insights, like for example, they now want bidirectional call flow, they want IPv6, they want, the meters are typically installed in area which are less than minus 100 dB coverage. They still want to get the meter data from there, they want to do RCDC. The cellular NMS is another thing which is coming up. Now they also want a real-time view of the meter, whether the meter is on, meter is not on, whether the connectivity is there, what is the coverage there. All these aspects are needed. So these are some of the key insights which we have got till now after working with 18 distribution companies in the country. Now this is again, the experience which is coming up after working with so many distribution companies. AMI connectivity is not about simple data connectivity, SIM lagaya aur chal gaya. No. It needs so much of pre and post aspects which needs to be taken care. The meter has to be tested first. We have seen so many cases where the meters are not working. Meters are working in one circle, but they are not working in other circle. The meters are working with one SIM, they are not working with the other SIM. They are working on 3G, but they are not working with 2G. So all these aspects has to be tested in the lab before they are put into production. Yogesh ji mentioned from MEVNL that there are, during the time of indexing, there has to be network coverage has to be done. If the network coverage is not there, there will be challenges in future. Similarly, there has to be cellular NMS, which I mentioned in the last slide. The SIM card which are being used in meters today are plastic SIM. They can't work for 10 years. Plastic SIMs are meant for cellular mobile. They are not meant to be installed in the meter. But we still see a lot of plastic SIM being installed in the meter. So you can't use those type of SIMs. You have to have industrial SIMs in the meter. And similarly, customer needs SLAs. And the SLAs are not about मेरा network इतना time चलता है. It is about how many bill reads are happening. The customer, the utilities wants SLAs from the telecom provider in terms of the bill reads. On the right hand side, it's a very, very important point which we have gathered after working for 3 to 4 years with distribution companies, specifically around smart metering. While the connectivity cost, the cloud cost, could only be 15 to 20% of the overall cost, but it can lead to almost 50% of the issues if the planning is not done properly as far as the connectivity is concerned. The TSP has to play a very, very major role in smart metering. I firmly believe that, and if you realize, TSPs actually are themselves the utilities. They have been doing postpaid billing, prepaid billing, they have been doing it for many years. So they are themselves the utilities. Their systems are very similar to what utilities are looking for. We have the similar Oracle billing system like you have MDM, which is there in utilities. We have a mediation system. The utilities call it HES system. The systems are very, very similar. Utilities understand this business very well. So utilities are going to offer the overall network coverage across rural and urban areas. They are going to offer end-to-end visibilities for the meters. They are going to offer SLAs. They can do triaging very well, and I am going to explain that in my next slide, how they could triage it better than anybody else. And then, of course, they have the capability to handle long-term contracts. In the morning also, some of the speakers raised concerns that there has to be companies who are long-term, who are there for this business for many years. There are companies on the RF mesh side who are very new. They are doing extremely good work. But can they sustain themselves for the next 10 years? Can they handle projects of thousands of crores of rupees? That's a question which is very, very important, and that is where utilities come into the play. I talked about the IoT lab. On the left are the industry challenges which we all are facing. IoT is a new field. It is not a mature business. It's an upcoming business. And naturally, any business faces those challenges. It's a fragmented ecosystem. People are not talking to each other. The module guy, the meter guy, the chipset guy, the application guy, are they talking together? Who is bringing them together? I think that system is very, very fragmented. There are a lot of unplanned costs because of no clear planning, as I mentioned in my previous slide. If the planning is not done from the connectivity side, for example, then there are going to be unplanned costs. And we are seeing those things happening in the field. Interoperability and compatibility issue, as I mentioned. एक मीटर एक सिम पे चलता है, दूसरे में नहीं चलता है. These are some of the compatibility issues which we are seeing. 3G पे चल रहा है, लेकिन 2G पे बैकअप में नहीं आता. 2G पे चलता है तो 3G पे नहीं जाता है, या 4G पे नहीं जाता है. So these are some of the intercompatibility issues which are there. And of course, there are lack of compliances and standards which need to be sorted out. So VI, as a thought leader, has taken a direction. We have set up an IoT lab along with CDOT, which is CDOT comes under the Department of Telecommunication. We have set up an IoT lab where we are doing testing of each and every IoT device, including smart meters. We have created about 175 telecom scenarios which a device will be tested for. We welcome the device vendors, the module vendors to come and test their devices. We strongly recommend that before you go commercial, both the distribution companies as well as the meter companies, before you go commercial, please come and get your devices certified. This is VI integrated offering. Based on our experience of working in smart metering for the last 4 years, we feel that the connectivity, the MPLS, the cloud and HES should be combined to one guy so that he can give you an SLAs based on meter read. Otherwise, what happens? Cloud guy give his own SLAs of uptime, HES guy may give his own uptime applications, and a connectivity guy may give his own uptime application. But at the end of the day, the distribution company does not want uptime. He wants meter reads. So based on our experience for the last 4 years, we are suggesting and we are proposing to the customers that we will bundle all the 3 offerings together and offer it together. And that is where Trilliant, who is our partner, comes in. They bring in their HES, which has been, commercial for about 13 to 14 million subscribers till now. They are present in almost 100 countries, and they have almost about 200 customers and present in about 60 countries. This is what VI and Trilliant partnership brings in. It brings a combination of global and local experiences. Both the companies are extremely good in their respective space, from the connectivity side, from the HES side, and together what we are building is a cellular NMS, where the connectivity, the device management, and the HES are combined together through IT integration. Sambudha mentioned about that there are no IT integrations today between the telecom system and the IT systems. This has to be done, and that's exactly what we are trying to build. Now I invite Sandip for the role which he's playing from the Trilliant side. Let him present the Trilliant capabilities to you. Thank you very much. And I'll come back.
Thank you, Bhushan, for setting this stage for this partnership discussion. So I'm Sandip Sinha. I represent Trilliant India. I am heading the sales here, located in NCR. And I'll give you a brief introduction about what Trilliant does and what has been the journey for Trilliant. So if you see, this is a company which was formed in 2005, and till today it has been like progressing year on year. I'll just talk about few of the important milestones, and which I will say the closest has been that when we started our operation in Asia Pacific in 2012 and 13, and one of the major installation across the world is going on in Malaysia, where we are already deployed around 3 million meters, and the plan is to roll out overall around 9 millions of meters. We did, acquire certain companies going forward to improve on our technology and build on our footprints. And one of the major acquisition was in 2015 when we acquired LP WAN. And another was when we acquired QL into 2020, a very recent one. Going forward in 2022 in India, we announced our partnership with Vodafone, and we look forward to work together in delivering this solution on AMI, wherein the communication infrastructure will be supported by Vodafone and the head-end system will be delivered by Trilliant. So we have got around, experience of 200 plus clients worldwide. One of the very interesting aspect on which you can count on is the number of major customers coming repeated to you or staying with you. So we have more than 10 customers who have been with us for more than 10 years and continuing to be, partnering with us. And that's the kind of foundation we look into building all across, and we are working and thriving to do that as well. So our presence is across the world. We have got more than 11 offices, and we have one in India as well. And we are presently doing a project for EESL through L&T that is for Haryana and UP Discom. And we have got a very strong presence, as I said, in Asia Pacific, headquartered in Singapore. So Trilliant cellular-based solution, in that we utilize existing cellular networks. As Bhushan mentioned, we are looking at working with Vodafone for this, and we can operate without additional Trilliant RF WAN technologies, purely on the cellular. And we can integrate on IPv4 6 meter connectivity, and we support LTE-M, 2G, 3G, 4G modules for all kind of technology. And more than 12 million connected meters have been connected already across the world for gas as well as electricity. And we have worked on 2G and 4G in UK for this similar kind of projects. And we have one important part which was, I think, communicated in first session itself today was about the security. And we are ensuring that the network and the technology what we are using from the software as well as the hardware perspective are, cyber security compliant and meeting the global standards. And it is continuously updated. That's also very important. So talking about Unity Suite, that is the product name of our head-end system, and smart meter integration. So some of the key requirements which a system should include for any smart metering integrations, we certainly need the identification of each and every point for a AMI. And so meter ID and serial number are very critical, a unique one. Meter address, IP-based address on IPv4 and 6. Server and TCP port numbers, they are very important and pull and push of the data. Notification and the management of the notification is critical. And certainly for any IEC and IEC meters, DLMS and COSM integration specification that's required to be listed out. I think that has been quite well done for these SBD documents for the projects which are going on in India as of today. SIM card serial numbers, I think Bhushan already mentioned about it, how they are working on industrial grade SIM cards, etc. And that's one area that they say they are focusing on so that the quality and the, I'll say reliability of the system is improved. And security algorithms and protocol. Obviously, this is, as I mentioned in my previous slide as well, security and cyber security, these are very important and critical part, and we deploy it in layers in our hardware as well as the software, so that the system is bug proof as well as it is not having any security threats. We do also have RF solutions. It could be right from the level of NIC card, which goes into the meter, to the field area network, to the wide area network. We operate on 2.4 gigahertz band, and that's a free band. And we have, experiences of several deployment across the world on these technologies. So it is standard Wi-Fi based. I mean, it meets that, it is compliant to that. And, it can work from 50 kbps to 2.4 mbps. And it has high processor power for analytics and edge intelligence. So it can work the device can be made operational as an edge device as well. So this was a brief introduction about what Trilliant is and what Trilliant is doing, especially emphasizing on how we are looking to collaborate with Vodafone in India and give a kind of a package solution so that the finer points are taken care and no loops are left in the entire, I'll say, the value from the point the data is picked from the meter till it is ending up in the control room where the HES are located. And having said that, I'll request again Bhushan to come on and conclude with this actions what we plan to take in short term and long term. Over to you, Bhushan.
Yeah, thank you, So some call to action. If we have to accelerate these things, few things which we have to do very quickly. One is, as I mentioned, we need to test the meters thoroughly before they are put into production with the telecom service provider, be it Vodafone, Idea, or Airtel or Jio. Connectivity methods has to be optimized. We see that continuously, the data is being pushed via telecom resources. The telecom resources are continuously being occupied by the devices on 24 hours basis. This has to be optimized. Spectrum is a natural resource. It is like we just want to save electricity, petrol, gas, etc. Spectrum is a natural resource. So if we need to optimize our methods of transmission of data. If it is not required, please disconnect the session and let the new session be formed. Let's not continuously keep pumping the data even if it is not required. Network coverage feasibility, which I mentioned. And then the point which Samuda said, there has to be an integration between telecom operators and the DISCOM IT systems. If the DC has to be issued, disconnection has to be issued, you have to check whether the telecom connectivity is there or not through the integration. Otherwise, you will just ending up sending up the data, but eventually nothing will happen. So there has to be an integration between the TSP systems, TSP systems, and utilities IT systems. On 3 to 6 month basis, there has to be a more closer collaboration, like from my first slide, as I mentioned, that now you need real-time data, utilities need real-time data, there has to be closer association. We are already working with TSDSI, Smart Grid National Foundation, CAE, we are already talking to them. We need to have a proper roadmap. Okay, things can't happen haphazardly. You can't expect to put a SIM card and expect you to work, as we go ahead. It has been working till now, but the volume which is going to come, that volume cannot be handled in this manner. There has to be a proper collaboration and a roadmap. One of the very important things which are going right now is about the license ban. AMI has been put by the interministerial group. AMI has been put as a critical services, and critical services has to be on the license ban. While we value RF mesh very, very high, and we want RF mesh also to be there because one technology cannot solve all the challenges. We want RF mesh to be there, but on the license ban. So this collaboration has to happen between the Ministry of Telecom and Ministry of Power, and we already are seeing these things happening. Another important point which I want to make is about the use of SMS. We all use SMS. Every day gets OTP whenever we do banking transaction. Is there anything more important than that? If we have to do a transaction and the OTP is not coming? Yes, 99.5% it comes, but there are chances, very few chances when it doesn't come, but it does come. Can the remote meter troubleshooting be done by SMS? Can the RCDC be done over SMS? These are some of the things which are open. I know DLMS doesn't allow today SMS as a medium, but we have taken up with TSDSI and BIS, we are taking up, and I'm sure they are going to invite some meter manufacturers also now, that how can we introduce SMS also as one of the media in DLMS. So these are some of the very important things, both 1 to 3 months and 3 to 6 months. Some of them are already happening, some of them are yet to happen, but I think this is the insights which we thought we will share with you. Thank you very much.